What would you do if you lost your job today? Literally, what would you do? Hey guys, my name is Miranda, and on Budget with the July Dreamer, I share with you everything personal finance. I focus on savings, I focus on investment as well as budgeting. Today's video is financially related, but I wanted to put a fear of God in you to think about what you would do if you were to lose your job today. And this video has been prompted by a post that Finance D, she's here on YouTube, posted whereby 700, I believe 700 employees in the US were all fired on the same day on Zoom, literally a couple of weeks before Christmas. They attended this Zoom call with the CEO, and he was just like, if you are on this Zoom call, you are fired. What would you do if you were in that situation? Like, for me, I had to sit down and think. We are all very much, a lot of us, I should say, are loyal employees. We wouldn't think about moving to another company. We love what we do. I mean, most of us love what we do and would never think about leaving the employer. But one thing I've learned over the last 10 years of working in corporate is the fact that companies are not charities. And that is no word of lies told there. It is a business. So your loyalty is repaid through maybe better compensation packages. But if things turned today, you are the most valued employee. Tomorrow, you are just another negative number on the balance sheets. That is the honest truth about it. And whilst I'm not saying that you shouldn't give your all to your job, I'm just saying you need to have that playing in the back of your mind. You need to be aware that at any one time, they can pull the rug under your feet. So, today's video, I have written down a couple of things of what I would do if I found myself as one of those 700. Was it 700 or 900? I can't even remember, but I'll leave the correct information on the screen and I'll link the video below, who lost their jobs, if I was one of those people, because we all know some of them may have been in a lot of debt, some of them only had that one income, some of them spent a lot because they were expecting their income to cover half of it and maybe went on repayment plans. Some of them put themselves in debt because they thought they had a secure job. So this is what I would do, and I've written it all down. So the first thing I would ask myself is, do you have an emergency fund? And for me, the answer is simple. Yes, I do. I have an emergency fund of £8,000. I have sinking funds of over £1,000. So I do have money readily available that I can use. So ask yourself this very question. So once you've gotten over the fear of God that I tried to put in you, answer the question, do you have a sinking fund? And how long would that sinking fund be able to sustain you? For me, my current sinking fund is able to sustain me for 6 months, purely because there's a lot of things from my budget that I can cut out. But this is also why I went with a big number for saving for my emergency fund, because there are certain things that I definitely don't want to cut out. I'm gonna not cut out Disney Plus because I pay for the year for that. And I've saved up already, so when the renewal comes, I already have the money to pay for that. I am not going to be canceling Netflix because I watch a lot of Netflix and I like Netflix, but I'll be able to give up my other subscription services. I can't cancel my phone because I am on a repayment plan. A payment plan, repayment plan? I don't even know what it is. So, but that is also something that I need to be able to find other jobs. Maybe I can get rid of my internet and just use the data from my phone. Those are also considerations. There's a lot of things I can cut out and bring my spending on essentials from less than £2,000 to less than 1,500. That is a possibility. But there's a lot of things that I love that I wouldn't want to cut out. This is why I saved up a lot more than I actually needed for the 6 months. That's question one, and that's my answer. Question two that I have: what debts do you have? You will need to assess your new situation if you were in that situation where you found yourself without a job. At the moment, personally, the only debts that I have are my mortgages. I don't have any consumer debts whatsoever, and that is by choice and that is by design. Over the last 6, 9 months, I have been educating myself and getting sound advice from those who have done better with their finances, from those who are sharing what they're doing, and I have ciphered the information that I think is of value to me. So I went ahead and paid off all of my credit cards, paid off my car, my Peloton, everything, so that I reduced money that was going to debt and I increased the money that was going towards my savings and investments. That's what I did. So I don't have any debt. But if you had debt, you would need to sit down. You need to look at all of the debts, and then you will need to maybe start considering reducing the payments that you make to your debts until you get back on your feet. You will need to speak to these companies and agree on something. The worst thing is failing to pay that, then it goes on your credit score and then it becomes a problem for you in the next 6 years, because that record, at least in the UK, it stays on your file for 6 years. So again, think about that. Do you have any debts? Then another thing which is tied to my emergency fund is what can you cut back on in your budget? Again, firstly, I think maybe my first question should be, apart from emergency fund, do you have a budget? Because that's the only way you are going to know where your money goes, how you are going to spend the money that you currently have. If that is, if you have an emergency fund, then you will know where you'll be focusing on. So you'll be focusing on your four walls, right? That's what you'll be focusing on. So you will know where it should go, what bills need to absolutely be paid, and what you can ask for forgiveness on until you get back on your feet. So it's very important. So you need to look at your budget and think about what can you cut back on. So takeaways might be something that have to go. For example, subscriptions. Everybody talks about getting rid of subscriptions, but like I've said, I'm not getting rid of my Disney Plus. I need to watch Olaf. That's all I'm saying. Okay. So think about that. You really need to think about that. The next question I have is, do you have other sources of income? And I think this is one that is absolutely important. Absolutely important. Think about it. You were to lose your job today. Where else could you get money? What other income sources do you have? Personally, I am fortunate to be in a position where my blog at julydreamer.com makes me some money. I have a shop budget with a July Dreamer on Etsy that brings me not something to live on, but extra income that I can use for food, for paying off my internet, or for paying for a bill here or there. It's still income that I get. Then I get from my rental property. So I do have other revenues. So apart from my emergency fund, I have my rental property, I have my blog, I have my Etsy, and I also do sometimes Deliveroo. So that is also another way I can make extra money. So for me, one thing that I wanted to just really, really bring to your attention is the importance of having more than one source of income. If you only have one source of income and that income got taken away from you, isn't that just the worst thing ever? Like, wouldn't that just drive you towards debt? And if you were already in debt, it would take you steps backwards as opposed to forward, because now you have to start using those credit cards you've paid off or have been paying off to survive until you can get back on your feet to start repaying them all over again. So my message for today's video is, don't only rely on one source of income. Start looking at what assets you can acquire that will generate another income for you. So if I said, okay, maybe I'll just do what is it called, Uber with my car, I need to think about the fuel and all of that just, but that again, that is another source of income for me if I wanted to go down that route. So this is why really having another source of income is so important. My heart literally goes out to those people on that Zoom call, because I literally can just imagine how that must have felt, especially for those who are already in a pinch, to have that taken right under their feet. And some of them may have been loyal employees. So again, loyalty in most of these times, to be honest, to one employer does not pay at all, because you are a number on a budget sheet. And if they want to cut back, your role might be the first to go. It may be the last, but you still gotta go. So think of other sources of income that you can add to your current income to solidify the foundation. I also have investments. So I didn't add that because I wouldn't want to start pulling money from my ISA or my general investment accounts. But if I was going to, I would deplete my general investment account. Sure, I have to pay capital gains tax on them, and I would. But at least those would go, but I would still leave my pension, obviously I can't touch, which is a good thing. But I would leave my stocks and shares ISA alone. I would love to leave it alone so it can continue growing whilst I focus on building my other income generating assets. So this video really, this topic, I should say, really hit me hard. And I wanted to share that message with you to please have more than one source of income in your arsenal, because the worst thing is being reliant on one and then having the rug being put underneath you and then finding yourself in a dire situation. So even though this video was grim, I don't know the word, but I hope you found value in it, and I hope it has at least made you pause and think, what would you do? And I would like to hear in the comments, really, what would you do if you were to lose your job today? Thank you so much for watching my video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.